All right, let's go through the watch list of May 28th and look for any setups worth just putting an alarm for. As usual, we're looking for high ADR stocks that either show a promising structure to support a momentum burst, or for names that have already experienced momentum but are somewhat basing on key levels. So let's see whether we have anything of that sort that is worth our attention. I'm quite heavy currently, not looking to add aggressively new exposure, but nevertheless, a setup is a setup, and then it might need our attention. As usually, quickly going through the charts. AFRM has broken the key levels of yesterday high, and now above 72. It might be interesting. It's a tight base without showing too much strength, but it also did not show weakness when the market was shaken out last week. So if there is a solid new momentum on the markets, this one could be a runner. So I'm adding this one to the watch list. MCore would have been a perfect setup if it kept these levels. So breaking this level here, you could argue that it's touching the 50-day and it based around it and then bounced back up. But it has broken the tidy structure. Still looks very much okay. Might be worth an attention. It really depends on the volume. If it breaks out with huge volume, if it breaks out the 76.7 levels, maybe it's worth attention. AMPG, strong momentum to the upside. Looks like it's trying to base now. It could be a good runner up. So anything above 5.1, maybe I'll be looking to add exposure. Quite tight, high ADR. This one could make an explosive move. You also have well-defined stop loss with yesterday lows and the day before. That could be a good trade risk management wise, despite the high ADR. APP, as we discussed on last stream, basically, if it breaks 540, it might start doing amazing stuff. Let's see. APPS, I was able to get on board on this one yesterday on the EP. Actually, it shook me out. Actually, it shook me out in the beginning, but then I entered back. So it shook me out on this bar here. I had some caution. I cut my exposure, but then I was able to get back in here with a new stop loss, and then I was able to scale out of the trade for a pretty decent daily gain. But I still hold a position. The volume which we observed yesterday was massive. So let's see whether it can hold up in this new range, or if not, it looks like a another failed name. ARP. That one looks okay. As we discussed on last stream, it's a bit too random for my taste, but nevertheless, it looks promising to the upside. There is a huge momentum for the past 3 days, insane amount of volume. So anything above the level of 1.3 for ARP Robotics, is worth our attention as speculators. ASST. This one looks promising insofar as that it has not shown any sign of weakness despite the market fading last week. It's not showing an insane amount of relative strength as well, but it's above the 8-day. It has had few tight inside days, so if it manages to break range, I'm interested in this one. BTDR is looking good. It's trending on the upper range, upper right corner of the chart. It has actually that's almost it's less than 12-month away range. But if it breaks the 16.1 levels, this one definitely has room to grow. Solid market cap, good ADR. I was shaken out previously, but with the relative strength and the 3 consecutive inside days, this one could actually be quite aggressive on the upside. And you have a well-defined stop loss here, so that's a good one. BTQ looks okay. Again, it has a range that has been established for a while now. Couple of inside days with strong volume, strong relative volume. I'll be looking just to monitor if it breaks out with big volume. TRDO, this one shook me out. Originally I had an entry here, looking good now. So CRDO looks interesting above the 230 level. I'll monitor this one closely. 2 inside days, strong momentum so far, well-defined stop loss with yesterday's low, hot theme, and then stock is almost at all-time high. So this one definitely has room to run. Adding to the watch list for today. CRNC, pretty much the same. Established range. Oh wow, quite the range. Actually, that's a year and a half range almost. If it breaks this range with power, I'll be looking to get exposure. So the CRNC levels is everything above 12. In the 12 range, if it breaks out with volume, definitely worth participating. That was a good TP yesterday. I didn't see it, unfortunately. Nevertheless, on these kind of EP names, I like putting an alert where a level would provide a good risk-reward ratio. So I could participate if this one downtrends a bit for today. So let's see. This one shook me out so bad. All right, Elva, that definitely looks promising. So inside days with a high around the 11.91. So if it breaks the 12 range, so yeah, here it is. That's a very good potential setup. So on multiple criteria, right? So you have a 500 million market cap, so plenty room to move. You have a high ADR, 7.6. The stock has been held in a range for 6 months now, and then it's close to its all-time high with 2 inside days being your last trading days. 2 very tight inside days with volume shrinking. Nevertheless, the stock is showing strong momentum. Well, if this one resolves above 12, it's definitely worth considering. That's an amazing setup. Yeah, lots of these names are completely random. This one shook me out on the EP. From then on, it hasn't looked back. This one is hard to re-enter. I'm not judging myself too harsh for it. Maybe here you had a good risk reward. Trending to the upside, some hourly range. But then things look different once you have been shaken out once. However, I'm monitoring this one as it showed a lot of relative volume, but it faded even quicker than that. HPQ. Yeah, that's a low ADR, but nevertheless, it had a good move. Oops. IONQ. That's the name that shook me out on the weakness. Nevertheless, it's looking very interesting around the 66.9 levels, so above 67. Definitely worth a watch. Now markets are extended, and maybe it would base first. But in any case, if it shows relative strength and then it wants to break higher, definitely one to watch. This one I was able to grab yesterday on the weakness. I had an alert prior to that, but yesterday just gave a very good risk to reward ratio for a high ADR name. Grabbing it here with a stop loss close by, essentially on this bar here. That's why it's so important that you monitor a couple of times a day your watch lists, especially after the market opens. Right, you should have your alarms set up prior to that. But sometimes too much things happen, and you need to keep on monitoring. And XDR, XDR Holdings, definitely trying to showcase a flag. Higher lows, lower highs, above the 10-day, but it needs solid volume above 2.1 for this one to look interesting. Pluck, that was a hard name to play. Shook me out twice. It's a hot team, so I'm not surprised it moves. Power integrations, power. This one I was able to get yesterday. It actually showed a pretty decent strength. I was able to get it on this bar here with a stop loss of the EP low. It's showing good relative volume. I hope it continues on the upside. So far, it looks like a good grab. But in any case, it's a good trade because of the good risk reward ratios. How it plays out really doesn't matter. QBTS, after the quantum strength following NVIDIA comments, they all pretty much look the same. Let's see if this one could start a first leg and then maybe base a bit. But no key levels to define right now. It needs to show strength first. Yeah, not much to see here. Insane amount of strength. Can't believe this one shook me out so easily. Shook me out on these bars here. That's the good thing about trading, right? I got shaken out from so many good names, but there are always others to play. Plenty of others have been incredibly good to me. This one looks like it could start something new. Tonks, Tone Strategy Company. So above 4.10, 410, sorry, 4.1. Given that it has been in a range for a while now, showing a good momentum, almost 100% from the low for 1 month. High ADR, it's more on the market cap side. I'm a bit cautious with these names, but nevertheless, it might run if it wants to. Well, this one was an amazing setup as well, shook me out, and I was very. My entry on DP was amazing. I was able to write almost the entire move, took some, but then it shook me out. Never stopped afterwards. All right, not much more to see. Thank you very much. Have a good day.